Hello students. Today we started chapter 4, that is presentation of data. Okay. So in this chapter we learn about the different form of presenting data. Okay. So we have already learned in previous chapter that how data are to be collected and organized. Okay. So as data are generally voluminous, so they need to be put in a compact or a presentable form. Okay. So in this chapter we deal with presentation of data preciously so that the voluminous data are collected could be made usable and very easy for compress. Okay. So there are generally three form of presentation of data. Okay. So these three form are, first one is textual and descriptive presentation, second is tabular presentation, and third one is diagrammatic presentation. Okay. In textual or descriptive presentation, the data can be present in descriptive way, okay, in text, and in tabular presentation the data is presented in the form of table, and in diagrammatic presentation the data is present or expressed in form of any diagram. Okay. So let's start it very briefly. So first one is textual and descriptive presentation. Okay. So in this type of presentation data are described within the text. Okay. So when the quantity of data is not too large, so this form of presentation is more suitable, but when there is a more data, that means the quantity of data is more, then it is little bit complicated. Okay. So for example, suppose in newspaper or in articles the information is given in text. Okay. So this type of information or this type of data is called textual or descriptive data. Okay. So when the information presented only in the text, so the serious drawback of this method of presentation is that one has to go through the complete text of presentation for compress, but at the same time, and it enable one to emphasize certain points to the presentation. Okay. Because if we take break for learning this type of information or a data, then we can't forget the previous learning. Okay. For understanding it clearly, it is necessary to read or to learn or to observe full complete data at a time. Okay. So this was a little bit drawback of this type of presentation. Okay. After it, the second one is tabular presentation of data. Okay. So according to its name, in this type of presentation data are presented in a table form. Okay. So the table contain row, that means horizontally line, or columns, that means vertical line. Okay. And some cells are the boxes that made with combine of row and columns. Okay. So the most important advantages of tabulation is that it organizes data for further statistical treatment and decision making. Okay. So the tabular representation of data is also attractive or easy to understand for everyone. Okay. So the tabular presentation can also be classified in four kinds, that is qualitative, quantitative, temporal, and spatial. Okay. So let's learn it briefly. First one is qualitative classification. Okay. According to its name, in this type of classification data are classified according to their quality. Okay. So when classification done according to the attributes such as social status, physical status, nationality, etc., so it is called the qualitative classification. Okay. So now look at the picture. So in this picture we classified the literacy in Bihar by sex and location. Okay. So these are the quality. So in main title heading there were 4 classification. First one is sex, that is male and female, location urban and rural, okay, and then total. Okay, so this example is clearly explain the qualitative classification, because there is two types of qualities are mentioned in this table. That first one is sex, that means male and female, okay, here the two qualities. And according to location, so here the two qualities are rural and urban, okay. After it, next one is quantitative classification, okay. So in quantitative classification, data are classified on the basis of characteristic which are quantitative in nature, okay. Quantitative means like in some numbers, digit, okay. So these characteristics can be measured in quantitatively. For example, suppose age, height, production, income, etc. So these things we can mention or measure in term of numbers, okay, in term of quantity. So classes are formed by assigning limit class, okay. We in previous chapter we already learned how to make class limit, okay. So class limit for the value of the characteristic under consideration. Again look at the picture. So in this way we take an example of distribution of 542 responded by their age in an election study in Bihar, okay. So in this the age group, that means the class interval set up according to the years, that 20 to 30, 30 to 40 and up to 80 to 90, okay. And the number of responded, that in class interval 20 to 30 there are 3 and its percentage is 0.55%. And next one 30 to 40, the number of responded are 61 and their percentage is 11.25 likewise, okay. So these things, all these things are represent in the quantity, okay, in some numbers or in some numerical fact. So these are called quantitative classification, okay. After it, next one is temporal classification, okay. So temporal classification, time become the classified variable and the data are categorized according to the time, okay. So in this type of table or in this type of classification, the data are classified or organized in term of their time, okay. So time may be in hour, dates and a week, month, years, etc, okay. Look at the table. So in this table we take yearly sale of tea shop, okay, from 1952 to 2000, okay. So here the time limit is in years, okay. So in 1995 the sale is 79.2%, in 1996 it was 81.3%, 1997 it was 82.4% up to, okay. So when we classified data in tabular form by time, okay, so it is temporal classification. After it, the next one is spatial classification, okay. So spatial classification is done on the basis of place and it is called spatial classification. So the place may be like village, town, block, district, state, country, etc. So any type of classification which we can do on the basis of some place, some region, okay. So this type of classification is called spatial classification, okay. So look at the picture. So in this picture, for example, we take an export from India to rest of the world in the 1 year as a share of the total export percentage, okay. So here the destination, in this many countries name are located, okay. USA, Germany, other EU, UK, Japan, Russia, etc. And on other side there was a export share, okay, 21.8, 5.6, 14.7 and up to, okay. So this type of presentation according to the place or according to some village, town, block, district, country, anything, okay. So this type of classification is called spatial classification. Okay. After it, the next type of classific presentation is tabulation of data or and a part of the table. Okay, so in this way we learn how the table is to be formed and what was the part of different parts of the table. Okay, so to construct a table, it is most important to learn first what are the parts of the good statistical table, and when put together systematically, so these parts form a table. The most simple way of conceptualizing a table to be present the data in a row and column along with the explanatory notes. Okay, so tabulation can be done using one way, two-way or three-way classification depending upon the number of characteristic involved. Okay, that means in by forming a table we can classify table in different way. Okay, 1 2 3 4 according to our data or our numbers what we have to located on a table. So the good table should essential table number, title, caption or columns heading, subs and row heading, body of the table, units of the measurement, source and notes. Okay, so these are the some parts of the table. So look at the picture. In this picture all parts of the table are mentioned. Okay, so first one is table number, that there is table number is 4.5. Okay, title, on which title the table is to be formed. Okay, so the title is population of India according to the workers and non-workers by gender and location 2001. Okay, we take an example of that. Next one is column heading and caption. So there are 1 2 3 4 5 columns. Okay, so the columns is location, gender, workers is classified into three way: mean, marginal, total, non-workers and total. Okay, unit means in in which numbers or in which scale the table is to be classified. Okay, is to be mentioned, so the table is mentioned in crore. Okay, next one is row heading. Row heading means that means in location side there are three row headings: rural, urban and all. Okay, after it the next one is body of the table. So the body of the table is that these all column and combination of all row and columns. Okay, so this was the main big box of this table is called the body of the table. After it source means from where we get information, from where we gather the information. Okay, so the information is belongs to census of India 2001. Okay, then note, figures are rounded to nearest crore. This was the note for us that all the figures are considered nearest closest to crore. Okay, so this was the some as an example for mention the all the body parts in a table. Okay.